of his disciples, which are not written in this book.
It's a cut.
Yeah.
That's a major cut, you know, because because when you read the accounts of Matthew, Luke, and John, these are different perspectives.
Yep.
And how the Bible was canonized and verified. All those stories about the miracles of Yahushua can be confirmed by that, man.
That's right.
You know, because it was the same writings over and over and over and over again from different accounts from different people that were there, man.
That's right. You're 100% right, brother. You want?
No, that's it.
Okay. I'm gonna get John chapter 2, starting at verse 1. And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, in Galilee, and the mother of Yahushua was there. And both Yahushua was called and his disciples to the marriage. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Yahushua said unto him, they had no wine. Yahushua said unto her, woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not yet come.
That's talking about the nation, huh?
It's talking about that doctrine.
Well, see, the thing about it, man, that's just so pitiful is when at the time when Yahushua was telling you that it was a parable, he plainly said it. This is a parable.
Yeah.
This is not a parable. This is a story. That's something that happened.
That's right. This is reality.
Yeah.
You were saying something?
No, go ahead.
Verse 5. His mother said unto the servants, whatsoever he said unto you, do it. And there were set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. Yahushua said unto them, fill the water pots with water, and they filled them up to the brim. And he said unto them, draw out now, and bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bare it. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and saith unto him, every man at the beginning doeth set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse, but thou hast kept the good wine until now. So they, like the servants had knew, but the governor hadn't even known. It was, he had performed a miracle of changing the water into wine, man. It's just as simple as that. This ain't no parable. This ain't no allegory, man. Yahushua Mashiach was that capable, man.
He did greater things than that. He said, "Mine hours is not yet come." Yeah. This was not a warm up because there's no need. But you know what I mean? It's that was a smaller miracle, man.
And you see the response that he had to his mother.
That was one of the first recorded miracles of Yahushua.
Yeah,
exactly.
And so the Lord knew what was going to befall him. He knew what was going to, as far as all those things goes regarding the things that he was commissioned to do when he was on the planet Earth.
That's right. But you could tell the response that he had to his mother, like, what's up? Like, man, hey, all right, man. Hey, man, y'all get some water, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just that simple. I'll continue reading. This is verse 11. This beginning of miracles did Yahushua in Cana of Galilee, and manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him.
Right. So he did one of those miracles right there.
That's right.
And they were like, whoa, this gotta be the man,
That's right.
Because it wasn't just 12 disciples,
Yep, exactly.
You want me to get something?
Yeah, can you jump down to
third chapter?
Verse 13.
John 3 and 13.
Because I'm still there. I'm still in John chapter 2 verse 12. After this, he went down to Capernaum, he and his mother and his brethren and his disciples, and they continued there not many days. And the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Yahushua went up to Jerusalem, and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves, and the changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge, small cords, he drove them all out of the temple with sheep and oxen, and poured out the changers' money, and overthrew the tables. This is, people making a mockery of Yahweh Shah, the word, as they do, as our people do today, man. Even in Israel, man, with all this, with all this merchandise, man. You're an Israelite. You know the name, you know the son's name, you know the father's name, but you tend to push your own agenda, man.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord's going to deal with you people, man. I'll continue reading. Verse 16. And said unto them that sold doves, take these hence, make not my father's house a house of merchandise. And his disciples remembered that it was written, the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up. Then answered the Jews and said unto him, what sign showest thou unto us, seeing that thou doest these things? And what's that sign? The sign of the miracles, man.
Mm-hmm.
The sign is the power, the living power of Yahweh Shem Shah. We've got to keep in mind this generation seeketh the sign. Because you want to sit here and scream, Yahshua and one body in Yahweh, but you don't believe that Yahweh Mashiach is capable of performing such things, man.
Right. And what's so crazy? Well, what's beautiful, I'll say, is that if you read in the previous chapter, up in the same, you still chapter 2, right?
Uh-huh.
Where it talks about in verse 11, he manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him.
Yeah.
So he only did the miracles for those who, who were basically worthy to see it.
Exactly. And that's after I read these few scriptures, I want you to get that in 3.
Okay.
It does. This speaks about that verse 1 and 2. I'll continue reading. This is verse 18. Then answered the Jews and said unto him, what sign showest thou unto us, seeing that thou doest these things? Yahushua answered and said unto them, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. Then said the Jews, 46 years was the temple in building, and wilt thou rear it up in 3 days? But he spake of the temple of his body. Okay, that's the allegory. That's the parable. That's what's symbolic, man. Not the miracles of Yahweh Mashiach. Verse 22. When therefore he was risen from the dead, his disciples remembered that he had said this unto them, and they believed the scripture and the word which Yahweh had said. Now when he was in Jerusalem at the Passover and the feast day, many believed in his name when they saw the miracles which he did. So it's clear that he did these miracles, and the scriptures recorded, man. The scriptures are our history book, If you could, push on hit that in John 3.
This is John chapter 3. You said, sorry, verse 1?
Uh-huh.
Okay. It says, there was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to Yahushua by night and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from the Most High. For no man can do these miracles that thou doest, except the Most High be with him. It says, Yahushua, keep going.
No, the point was right there in verse 2.
Yeah, man. That's a beautiful point. Basically, he's acknowledging the fact that, those miracles that we've seen, we have to make a decision on whether we want to believe that the Most High is with you or not. But you can't deny it if it's been done.
Yeah, exactly. And in the times that we're in, and the times that are to come, man, if you're not able to perform, miracles as such as Yahushua's promised, you need to really think back on what you said, man, and you're gonna give an account for that in that day. Sitting there not believing that Yahushua Mashiach wasn't capable of performing these miracles.
Yeah, that's a transgression.
Yeah, that's and you going off, and you leading the flock to believe that, man. Yeah, you feeding the flock, all right, but a bunch of BS, man.
God, I had a
go ahead.
precept real quick.
And if you got something to say about
No.
This is Mark chapter 2, and I'll start at verse 5. It says, when Yahushua saw their faith, this is Yahushua when he healed the man with the palsy. It says, when Yahushua saw their faith, he said unto the sick of the palsy, Son, thy sins be forgiven thee. It says, but there were certain of the scribes sitting there and reasoning in their hearts, why doeth this man thus speak blasphemies? Who can forgive sins but the Most High only? So their mentality was saying, who gave him authority to forgive sins?
That's right.
You know? Now, here, I love this point with the Yahushua made. Verse 8, it says, and immediately when Yahushua perceived in his spirit that they so reason within themselves, so that in itself, he's able to know what they're thinking.
Yep.
You know, that's spiritual power. But it says, he said unto them, why reason ye these things in your hearts? Here, right here's the point. It says, whether it is easier to say to the sick of the palsy, thy sins be forgiven thee, or to say, arise and take up thy bed and walk. But that ye may know that the Son of the Most High, that the Son of Man hath power on earth to forgive sins. And then it says, he said to the sick of the palsy, I say unto thee, arise and take up thy bed and go thy way into thine house.
That's right.
So what his point was, okay, you Pharisees, y'all are complaining that basically they're what's the word I'm looking for? Scoffing, you know, saying who gave him authority to forgive sins, you know? But then Yahushua said, look, okay, if you don't believe that I have the authority to forgive sins, who do you think gave me the authority to make this man be able to walk again? And then he did the miracle, you know? So he did that for them to believe. I mean, of course, yeah, you know, it was, you know, that man who had that palsy, you know, that burden was getting lifted off him. But more importantly, those who saw that, it was the purpose of doing that miracle was for those who saw that miracle be done to believe that he had power to forgive sins.
Yep.
You know? And so to say he didn't do miracles, man, is like, that's just take that, you just you might as well throw the whole Bible in the garbage, man.
That's right.
No, that's it.
Well, the Bible's full of miracles, man.
Right.
The Bible's full of the majesty and the glory of Yahweh.
That's right.
And how he bestows his glory to the men on the earth.
That's right.
You know. So I mean, when they talk about King David, how he put tens of thousands of men to flight, you don't believe in that? Samson, where he killed 1,000 Philistines with a jawbone, you don't believe in that? You know. Daniel, when he prophesied to Nebuchadnezzar and all those things happened in Babylon, you know?
Him being in the lion's den.
Him being in the lion's den? Come on, man. And then you fast forward into the time of the Roman Empire. Even after Yahushua went back to the spirit world, the disciples and apostles were doing unbelievable things, man.
That's right.
So you saying all of those things were just allegories and parables? You know?
Yeah. And those Pharisees were seeing that, man. Those scribes and Pharisees, those upper class Jews, they were seeing it. They were like, damn, they really sit there and perform miracles. They were witnesses. That's why it's recorded in the book of Acts, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not. Once again, it's not for cute stories, man. You know, if you believe, you believe. If you don't, hey, that's something you're gonna have to take up with the Most High, man. Did you have anything, Simon?
No, that's it.
Okay. This is back in John chapter 6. I'm gonna start with the first verse. After these things, Yahushua went over the sea of Galilee, which the sea of Tiberias, and the great multitude followed him because they saw his miracles, which he did on them that were diseased. Like it's been recorded. We can go, like the brother Sinai said, this throughout the whole book, man. miracles have been recorded, man. The record book, our history book, that Yahushua Mashiach has performed these things. Verse 3, and Yahushua went up into a mountain, and there he sat with his disciples. And the Passover, a feast of the Jews, was nigh. When Yahushua then lifted up his eyes, and saw a great company come unto him, he said unto Philip, when shall we buy bread that these may eat? And this he said to prove him, for he himself knew what he would do. Philip answered him, 200 pennyworth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may take a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon, Peter's brother, said unto him, there is a lad here which hath five barley loaves and 2 small fishes, but what are they among so many? And Yahushua said, make the men sit down. Now there was much grass in the place. So the men sat down, in the number about 5,000. And Yahushua took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed to the disciples, and the disciples to them that were set down, and likewise of the fishes as much as they would. So how these out like allegory, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we understand that, you have certain scriptures, man can't, live off bread alone or, meat alone. We get that. But Yahushua Mashiach had clearly did these miracles, man. He clearly performed these, man, along with the disciples, Matter of fact, I'll keep reading to verse 13, I believe. This is verse 12, back in verse 12. When they were filled, he said unto his disciples, gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing be lost. Therefore they gathered them together and filled 12 baskets with fragments of the 5 barley loaves, which remained over and above them that had eaten. Verse 14, then those men, when they had seen the miracle that Yahushua did, said, this is of a truth that prophet that should come into the world. So let me read that. This is of a truth that prophet that should come into the world. It's clear, man, that these were a reality, man. These miracles were a reality, man, ordained from high above, from the Most High, man.
God.
Mm-hmm.
What verse did you stop at?
I stopped at verse 14.
Okay, God. You want me to drop down to verse 29?
That was
Well, shoot, I mean, you can start off a little bit like verse 26.
Yeah, you see where I'm at? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can read for you.
Yeah,
All right, I'll start at verse 26.
Okay,
This is John chapter 6 and 26. It says, Yahushua answered them and said, actually, I'll get the question. Verse 25, and when they had found him on the other side of the sea, they said unto him, Rabbi, when camest thou hither? Yahushua answered them and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, ye seek me, not because you saw the miracles, but because ye did eat of the loaves and were filled. Labor not for the meat which perisheth, but for that meat which endureth unto everlasting life.
That's right.
Which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him hath the Most High sealed.
That's right.
And
that's Salaki.
Mm-hmm.
Now that was the symbolic part.
Mm-hmm.
The parable part. You know what I'm saying? But for the meat which endureth unto everlasting life.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't ignore the fact that Yahushua Mashiach did perform these miracles, man.
That's what he said. He said, you seek me not because you saw the miracles, but because you did eat of the loaves and were filled. Like they actually physically ate the food. Like there's no getting around that.
Yeah, there's no getting around it, man. So go ahead.
Kind. Verse 28 says, Then said they unto him, What shall we do that we might work the works of the Most High? Yahushua answered and said unto them, This is the work of the Most High, that ye believe on him whom he hath sent. So how can a man say that he is doing the work if you don't believe in Yahushua and the things that he did.
That's right. Have y'all read John 12? Yeah.
That's man. Yeah, we can jump down to that.
Okay.
I got that written down here.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's exactly what's going on. They don't believe in the works that were put forth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man.
That's right.
Because it's gonna take a miracle for us to get out of this damn situation we in, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think Jake is not understanding the ramifications of what we are in.
Yeah.
This man has taken over the entire planet Earth and lied about every goddamn thing and is ruling in complete wickedness, man.
That's right.
It's gonna take more than us preaching on the street corner for him to fall. We need Yahushua to come back with power and glory to take this man down, man.
That's right.
We ain't gonna be able to talk our way out this situation, man.
That's right. And Jake's sitting here taking steps backwards by saying, Yahushua Mashiach didn't perform these miracles. Like, bro, how ass backwards can you be?
Hey.
Right, because that's power in what we're doing, don't get me wrong.
That's right.
But it's gonna take physical acts and miracles
Exactly.
for us to get out of here, man.
That's right.
Because he is gonna try to chip you, man. He is gonna try to he is gonna start these race wars. He is gonna implement World War III.
That's right.
These things are gonna happen, man.
That's right.
So how are we gonna make it out of these situations?
Exactly.
There is nuclear weapons that will be used.
That's right.
So, you know, Jake gotta snap out of it, man.
That's right.
Boy. All right, so this is John chapter 12, verse 34.
Start. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Verse 34?
Yep.
Okay. It says, the people answered him, we have heard out of the law that Mashiach abideth forever. And how sayest thou, the Son of Man must be lifted up? Who is this Son of Man? Then Yahushua said unto them, yet a little while the light is the light with you. Walk while ye have the light, lest darkness come upon you. For he that walketh in darkness knoweth not whither he goeth. It says,
Yeah, because we constantly talk about the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai. There's a light upon our path through the scriptures and these words. We're able to navigate in the valley of the shadow of death.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Which is America. We know what's going on. Now at that time, he knew that he was going to have to get persecuted, crucified, and he was going to go back to the spirit world on the right hand side of the Father. So he's like, well, while I'm with you, man, you know,
That's right.
get it. Let's get it in together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go ahead.
it says, verse 36, while ye have the light, believe in the light.
Believe in the light. Believe in these things that are said before you in truth and faith, that he's going to redeem us in power and glory.
That's right.
That's all we're saying, man. You over here telling Jake that the miracles is an allegory and all these different things. Then how are we going to get out of here, man?
For real. That's right.
So I guess we're supposed to follow your black ass. You don't even know how to pronunciate words in a broken language that you given to you by your slave owner, man.
That's right.
But now we can't believe in the miracles of Yahushua, man. Come on, bro. Tripping.
That's right.
Go ahead.
It says, while ye have the light, believe in the light, that ye may be the children of the light.
Mm-hmm.
These things spake Yahushua and departed, and did hide himself from them.
Mm-hmm.
Continue on.
Yo, yeah.
Okay, verse 37.
That's the point right here in 37. Go ahead.
But though he had done so many miracles before them,
But though he had done so many miracles before them, go ahead.
yet they believed not on him.
They believe not on him, man. That's what's going on. So it's even worse now because He was doing the miracles right in front of their faces. So they were treating him as if he was some magician, man.
Yeah.
Some left-hand magician, man.
That's right.
Like he David Blaine. Playing a card game.
Yeah.
Chris Angel.
You know? That's how they treat Yahushua, man. All right, I want you to grab this quarter, put it in your back right pocket. All right, and then Yahushua just pulls the quarter out of your ear. And like, oh, and you have some nigga. I know how you did that shit. He had a quarter in his other hand in it the whole time, man. He raising the dead, he's doing all these different things, and now you got these guys talking about that that's not real, man. Come on, bro. So it says, but though he had done so many miracles before them, yet they believed not on him. So they call themselves one body in Yahushua, and they don't believe in Yahushua, man.
That's wild.
That is wild.
Go ahead and read verse 38.
Verse 38 says that the saying of Isaiah.
Now here's the beautiful part. When they said that, they didn't realize they were fulfilling prophecy.
Yep.
They didn't realize that. By you saying that those miracles weren't real, you fulfilling prophecy, bro. Go ahead.
It says that the saying of Isaiah the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spake, Lord, who hath believed our report?
Who had believed our report? So we're going out on the highways and byways. We are reproving, rebuking our people. We're telling our people about the miracles of Yahushua and how he's going to redeem the elect of the nation of Israel. And he's going to impart that same power onto the 144,000. And that 144,000 is going to be the governing body that's going to rule the world in righteousness and going to raise up the nation of Israel to be back in control. And who has believed our report? They don't believe their report. They don't believe that that's going to happen, man.
That's right.
Go ahead.
God. It says, Lord, who hath believed our report, and to whom hath the arm of Yahweh been revealed?
And yeah. Go ahead.
It says, therefore they could not believe, because that Isaiah said again, he had blinded their eyes.
He had blinded their eyes, man. The eyes of one body in Yahushua have been blinded.
Yep.
From understanding that the miracles of the Lord were real and they did happen. It was written down in a book.
That's right.
Okay? For us, when we get back to who we were, moving from that time, we were going to look onto these things and believe in those things and be what's the word I'm looking for? Renewed in the spirit to come back to our heritage.
That's right.
Go ahead.
It says, he had blinded their eyes and hardened their heart.
And hardened their heart, man.
That they should not see with their eyes, nor understand with their heart, and be converted, and I should heal them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the same thing that Yahushua said in Matthew 13 chapter. For fear of them actually believing, the Most High put a spirit of deep sleep upon the people, to where they don't perceive the true doctrine. Even when those that were there saw it with their own eyes, they didn't believe. That's a heavy spirit of deception. Heavy spirit of deception. No spirits are back, so of course they're not gonna believe on what he's saying.
That's right.
Because they didn't believe on him.
Yep.
Did you want me to keep going on that, bro?
No, I sit on that.
Okay.
So I got something in John chapter 9, verse 16. You got it, brother?
Yeah, I can say reach for it. Go ahead. This is John chapter 9, verse 16. It says, therefore said some of the Pharisees, this man is not of the Most High, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day. Others said, how can a man that is a sinner do such miracles? And there was a division among them.
See, these Pharisees were seeing him do miracles, man. Okay? And for one, Yahushua Mashiach wasn't a sinner. He actually, he fulfilled the law to perfection, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like the brother, like the priest was going into, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yahushua Mashiach did these things, you know, right before these people's face, man, and they still didn't believe on the one that the Most High had sent, man.
Right, because right there, you know, like I said, they were divided because the Pharisees were basically calling Yahushua or insinuating that Yahushua was a sinner and that he was, you know,
Doing witchcraft,
exactly,
calling himself the Most High, which he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, you know, I perform these miracles, man. I'm the one, you know, I'm the one the Most High sent, but y'all, you know, y'all not believing on, you know what I'm saying? I'm showing you firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm showing you firsthand, but y'all just, you know, and that's how Jake is, man. You know, Jake don't believe fat meat greasy, man. Jake has to put their hand like literally on the stove and get burnt and get injured until they believe it, man.
That's what's gonna happen. They gonna get burnt.
That's
you know, and then it's gonna be too late. But I wanted to make that point where it said that they said, how can a man that is a sinner do such miracles? Mm-hmm. They were like, look, okay, you call him a sinner, but how come if he is a sinner, how is he able to do these miracles?
Yeah.
You know, they were like, bro, that's why that division is there. There's still believers on the planet Earth that are going to stand up for Yahushua, which I thought was a beautiful point. And then I wanted to get that scripture in Acts where it says, matter of fact, I'll pull it real quick. Okay. Acts chapter 4, let's see here. Verse 16, it says, verse 15, it says, but when they had commanded them to go aside out of the council, they conferred among themselves, saying, what shall we do to these men? For that indeed a notable miracle hath been done by them, is manifest to all that dwell in Jerusalem, and we cannot deny it. So they couldn't deny the fact that Peter had did the miracle, man. And so that's an example of greater works shall you do.
Yeah.
You know, because we're gonna be doing miracles in these times as well. Lord willing, with those men.
That's right. This brings you back to, you know, what we've been saying, man. Who the hell are you to say that these weren't performed, man? These miracles weren't performed.
Yeah.
So basically, you calling the scriptures a liar, man. You calling the Most High a liar, man. But the Most High already got something for that. That's Romans 3:3. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let every word of the Most High be true, and every word of man be a liar. You know, loosely paraphrasing, man. Can you keep reading on John 9?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 17.
Yeah. This is John chapter 9, verse 17. It says, they say unto the blind man again, what sayest thou of him? That he hath opened his eyes. Excuse me, that he hath opened thine eyes. He said, he is a prophet. But the Jews did not believe concerning him, that he had been blind, and received his sight, until they called the parents of him that had received his sight. And they asked them, saying, is this your son, who you say was born blind? How then doeth he now see? His parents answered them and said, we know that this is our son, and that he was born blind. But by what means he now seeth, we know not. Or who hath opened his eyes, we know not. He is of age, ask him. He shall speak for himself. So, you know, if you don't mind, if I may say, they were the Pharisees. They were trying to put every logical reasoning together, saying, "Oh, he's lying."
Yeah.
You know, they said they didn't believe until they had talked to his parents.
Yeah.
And they were like, bro, like, what need do we have to lie? Like, yes, he was blind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing. A lot of people, they're not going to really believe until they've been convicted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
So continuing on, it says, verse 22, it says, "These words spake his parents, because they feared the Jews. For the Jews had agreed already that if any man did confess that he was the Messiah, he should be put out of the synagogue. Therefore said his parents, He is of age, ask him. Then again called they the man that was blind, and said unto him, Give the Most High the praise. We know that this man is a sinner. He answered and said, Whether he be a sinner or no, I know not. One thing I know, that whereas I was blind, now I see. Then said they to him again, What did he to thee? How opened he thine eyes? See, they were trying to tell him. They were trying to tell him They were basically trying to tell him, look, just give the Most High the praise, because God did it. Elijah see, which is true. Yeah. But they were trying to divert giving the praise to Yahushua.
That's right.
Which is,
That's right.
So it's so damn petty, man. But it says, verse 27. He answered them, I have told you already, and ye did not hear. Wherefore would ye hear it again? Will ye also be his disciples? Then they reviled him and said, Thou art his disciple, for we are Moses' disciples. We know that the Most High spake unto Moses, After this fellow, we know not from whence he is. So they didn't believe, man. That's what it goes back to. Their unbelief.
Jake is displaying that perfectly.
John. Let me see. You want me to keep going? Shoot, I mean, it is a nice little back and forth here. Verse 30 says, The man answered and said unto them, Why herein is a marvelous thing, that ye know not from whence he is, and yet he hath opened mine eyes. Now we know that the Most High heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshiper of the Most High, and doeth his will, him he heareth. And Yahushua call upon Yahweh when he did the miracles, man.
That's right.
So that's proof that he did it of the Most High.
That's right.
Let's see. So it says, verse 32, since the world began, was it not heard that any man opened the eyes of one that was born blind? If this man were not of the Most High, he could do nothing. Which he come right there.
Yeah.
It says, they answered and said unto him, Thou wast altogether born in sins, and doest thou teach us? And they cast him out. So they were too damn proud to be reprimanded.
That's right.
And so that's the end of that. I mean, we can go to another one. Unless you want to
go to 35.
Yeah, I'll read verse 35. Yeah. Verse 35 says, Yahushua heard that they had cast him out, and when he had found him, he said unto him, Doest thou believe on the Son of the Most High? He answered and said, Who is he, Lord, that I might believe on him? And Yahushua said unto him, Thou hast both seen him, and it is he that talketh with thee. And he said, Lord, I believe. And he worshipped him.
Yeah. He showed reverence to Yahushua right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, like what more? What else I gotta do?
Right, bro. That's why and that man is back today through the Spirit, man.
Yep.
Back today, believing on the Lord.
That's right.
Yep.
So we see those falling in their lots. Falling in their lots, pursuing the prophecy. Let me keep reading.
Let me see. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 12.
Okay. 1 Corinthians 12, sorry, 1. All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1, it says, Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. You know that ye were Gentiles carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. Wherefore I give you to understand that no man speaking by the Spirit of the Most High calleth Yahushua accursed, and that no man can say that Yahushua is Lord, but by the Holy Spirit. Now, there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit.
One of those diversity of gifts. The diversity of gifts is going to be different offices, but also spiritual gifts of us being able to perform miracles, man. Through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. Because like the brother, like the Kahan said earlier, man, like it is a powerful thing that we're doing on the highways and byways, but we're going to need much more, man. You know, we're going to need Yahweh Shai to deliver us, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to need to be continually ordained and blessed from up high above, from the Most High, man. For one, we have to believe that the Most High is going to ordain us to perform these miracles, man. And really believe in you know, that, hey, man, we're capable of the power. You know, we believe in the power. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's saying, you know, Yahshua, bro, Prince of the power, bro. Prince of the signs, you Prince of the miracles, man. You know?
God. It says, verse 3, excuse me, let me see, verse 5, yeah. It says, and there are differences of administrations, but the same Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And there are diversities of operations, but it is the same power which worketh in all.
Mm-hmm.
But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal.
That's right.
Verse 8. It says, for to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles.
Read that again.
To another the working of miracles.
So another working miracles, man. So it's like, bro, like, is that an allegory? Or I mean, is it parabolic, symbolic? I'm curious here, my man.
Right? Yeah, break this down right here, bro.
Yeah. Like, bro, men were set up to perform miracles, bro. The Most High has ordained it.
Right. Because when you look at the definition of miracle, right, like if you just Google it, it says miracle, a surprising and welcome event that is not explicable by nature or scientific laws, and is therefore considered to be the work of a divine agency. So, us coming to this truth is a miracle, man.
That's right.
We didn't know each other, man.
Sure did.
But now we congregate every single week, preaching the word and his doctrine with the same mindset, and you have men doing it all around the world.
That's right.
That's a miracle, man.
That's right. That's right, God.
So even those small little acts are miracles.
Yep.
But then you're going to say Yahushua, who sits on the right hand of the Most High, his first begotten, can't do the things that were written? Come on, bro.
Wow.
What we're doing is a miracle.
That's right.
Let alone all of the great things that he's able to do and that he did.
That's right.
Come on, bro. Jake Trip. It says a highly improbable or extraordinary event, development, or accomplishment that brings very welcome consequences. So us being ushered into the kingdom of heaven is going to be a miracle, man.
That's right.
An amazing product or achievement or an outstanding example of something. We're living miracles, man.
That's right.
Us not following the status quo and just being in the world, thinking and acting and behaving like everyone else, but standing outside of that with a standard, devoting our lives to it, and proclaiming it amongst the people that categorically disagree with what we believe in is a miracle.
That's right.
It's crazy, man. You guys don't have any faith.
Yeah. No.
You guys, I don't even know why you even read the Bible, because you don't believe nothing's gonna happen with it.
Yeah.
What's the end game? The end game is gonna be a miracle.
That's right.
So what's the point of you doing what you're doing, bro?
For real. Cause bro, y'all out like we brothers, we know where those guys are, man.
Y'all gotta follow the scriptures, man. Y'all, you women ain't supposed to be wearing pants, man. It's the Sabbath, man. You ain't supposed to be buying and selling. Why are you telling them that, bro? What's the point? Why should they believe in what you're talking about? Why? Like, all right, so if I do this, then what's gonna happen? What's gonna be different?
That's right.
So what's gonna change?
That's right. Like, bro, y'all out there right now. It's, no disrespect, but it's hot as hell. Even though we were out there yesterday, we go out in whether it's hot, cold.
Bro, it's hot.
It's hot as hell, but bro, y'all don't even have faith. Y'all shot performing these miracles. Why? Bro, why y'all out there sweating?
Yeah, what's the end game for y'all, man?
Y'all wasting y'all Saturday, if you ask me. That's real talk. Hey, brother, Rashad, could you jump down to verse 27?
Okay. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 27. Now ye are the body of Mashiach, and members in particular. And the Most High hath set some in the church, first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healings.
After that, miracles. Bro, miracles is a part of the body, bro. Miracles is a part of the office. Miracles is a part of the job description, bro. In this office, you know how you have a itinerary, or what a company consists of, the stipulations, bro. Miracles is a part of the stipulations, bro. Reread that, Bible, Kushon.
Okay. 1 Corinthians 12 and 28. And the Most High hath set some in the church, first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healings, helps, governments, diversities of tongues.
Brothers all around the globe, 4 corners around her. Go ahead.
Verse 29, are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Are all workers of miracles? Have all the gifts of healing? Do all speak with tongues? Do all interpret? But covet earnestly the best gifts, and yet show I unto you a more excellent way.
What's that more excellent way? It's believing, man. It's believing on your Yahweh. And then how you do that, man? Or going out there on the highways and byways, man. Really truly believing, man, and feeding the flock. What the priest was saying. We out here feeding the sheep, man. Bro, that's really like what you doing, man. You guys, that's really like vainglory, man. You trying to, build a rep for yourself, man. You should be pushing the vibration of, hey, these things will happen, man. You just have to believe, man. Yahweh Mashiach, man, is coming back for his elect, man. The Most High ain't just to leave his people out here bad, man. Miracles will happen. Our people aren't going to continue to be in this captivity, man. And not just, some BS carnal victory or having a quote-unquote best breakdown or new breakdown, man. It's got to get, like the priest said, man, it's about getting out of here, man. Not continuing in this hell. You know, and it's about faith and believing on Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, man. You know? Brothers have any other precepts or anything?
Shoot, man, that's. Let me see. Actually, I do have this one in Galatians.
Okay. Ended off on that. So, you didn't have anything in the job?
No.
Okay. Ended off. This one's for the hands.
Okay. This is Galatians chapter 3, verse 5. He therefore that ministereth to you the Spirit and worketh miracles among you, doeth he it by the works of the law or by the hearing of faith? Which goes back into what you were talking about, you know, that excellent way, which part of the excellent way is charity, you know, because that's you have faith and then you're driven to do the work by that, you know, brotherly love that you have, you know, and of course, you know, like I said, compounded with the faith of being rewarded.
That's right.
You know, and so, but we do these miracles in faith.
That's right.
You know, and we have faith that miracles were done. So faith is an integral part of this thing. That's why we say if you don't believe in the miracles that were done, you just don't have faith. You know,
You're really just wasting your time, bro. To be quite honest, you're just really wasting your time, bro. Like we always say, man, we got stuff like that's considered to the world to be doing better stuff with our time, but we understand this is the best part of our time. You know. So what's up? Hey, we hope this was edifying, you know, to the Akim and Akwath out there that's listening. Once again, call Allah,
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Bakraqadash.
Once again, we also like to give salutations to the select number of Akim, which is truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And salutations once again to the select number of Akwath out there listening. Shalom.
Shalom.